Like the neutral zone, this ties into the Q line, but is not directly a part of the Q line. Also, like the neutral zone, it's bad. Not as bad, but certainly not good. Captain consolidates the first of 3 stories around Bosch, 2 of which involve Q. It was in response to Patrick Stewart wanting to do a bit more of an action hero shtick, more sexy guns, as they said, and therein lies the problem. Sounds good on paper, but executing is going to be a problem. Here's the first problem. Picard's going on vacation. He's moody, you see, because he had to mediate some trade discussion, and now there's this big maintenance overhaul for the Enterprise. And they got to resupply the supplies of smoke and everything. So everyone conspires to get Picard to go and take a vacation. This painful stuff is there to pad out almost the entire first act, which leaves even less time for the so-called adventure. Next, the tension breaks out over whether something should be rolled together or just folded. Perhaps the most obnoxious is the slow and plodding discussion between Riker and Troy, flipping massive close-ups. Conversations can be difficult to film. This one already developed a twisted mentality, like a Franz Kafka version of a racer that filtered through cable access. Finally, after all this is stolen, Picard agrees to go to Riker. It's a pleasure for him. You can imagine why he'd be so selfish and want to go there. Then again, here's the alternative.
Well, how does that such a good news?
Really?
There's an excellent chance that my mother will be joining us on August 12th.
Man, a Cardassian labor camp would sound appealing by comparison. Worf's the only one who doesn't seem in on this. He wants to assign a security officer to follow Picard around everywhere. And doesn't he look like the fun kind of guy you want on your vacation? If you get bored, you can toss some rings around his elongated neck. So Picard winds up on the planet and runs into Bosch here. She's terrific, so fast. Of course, the point you transition from we're pretending to a threat to, okay, we admit it, these guys are a joke. Sobek's an idiot, but he tries to be as intimidating as he can for a man who looks like he's wearing one of those helmets boxer suits. Sobek's played by Max Grodenchik, who will go on to play Rom on DS9. But Sobek isn't like Rom at all here. Those slit eyes, his odd voice, his odder head gestures. Looks like a drunken Stevie Wonder that was attacked by bees. Bosch, to try to avoid Sobek, grabs Picard and kisses him. Of course, it is Picard, so he's more annoyed than anything else.
You know, I think you might be right. Welcome to Rocket.
Simple handshake, what are so funny? That was an unauthorized kiss, so stop that boner right now. Well, try to forget about it and just start enjoying your vacation, Picard. Of all the intolerable, there's people trying to read Ulysses over here. Damn it. Bunch of animals. Kenobi? God damn it, Kenobi, I told you to fuck off an hour ago. God, I hate this place. I hope it starts raining and you're all as miserable as I am.
Is there anything you require to make your stay a more pleasant one?
Yes, a plague. Jovel points out he's displaying the Horgon, a souvenir Riker asked him to pick up.
The Horgon is the Rysian symbol of sexuality. To own one is to call forth its powers. To display it is to announce you as seeking Jemima.
I really don't know what I can add to that. It's already silly enough on its own. Picard, of course, is rather embarrassed by this possible encounter with a female, especially in the wake of his earlier kiss. Picard thinks this guy was supposed to be such a ladies' man back in the day, or that this is a sign of Stewart getting more sex than Picard's role, for that matter. Seems more like a desperate cry for help. Like some kind of stupid Disney movie where the crotchety curmudgeon must learn the ways of love through a goofy character that only he can see and hear. Maybe some animated character taking over his privates or something. You know, those little Reynolds Wrap shorts you got going on, that could work. Yeah. Coming this fall to ABC Saturday mornings, Picard and his little friend talking Latin penis. Sobek, Ferengi master of timing, chooses now to put pressure on Picard. He decides that Picard must be working with Bosch because he saw them together. And when Picard protests, he figures he's just playing dumb. However, the only one playing dumb is Chick, because Sovik's an idiot, even by round standards. As much as Picard tries to brush him off, Sovek keeps pushing, trying to intimidate Picard by mentioning the Ferengi. Well, that's like trying to scare people off by saying you're a semi-pro bowler. Picard soon gets into Sovek's swollen face and tells him to piss off, but Sovek still won't buy it. He scuttles off. You know, Sovek's not all that effective at being a bad guy. He's really more like a henchman who's just took one too many beatings and so has just struck out on his own. You see why they figured he couldn't really handle the full villainy aspects for this episode by himself. Bosch finally comes over and starts talking with Picard.
No, I don't listen to their rude. Well, could you shit off already?
There's an embarrassed bit where he thinks this is another attempt to get him all Jamaharoned, but Bosch is actually inquiring about the Ferengi. Picard goes to leave, she follows, and then Sovek comes back, his suspicions confirmed in his mind by the sight of them together. This thing really doesn't have the adventure vibe at all. To tell you the truth, it's almost like you're watching a really bad Muppet movie, especially with Sovek's synthetic face. Anyway, point is, he's after this disc, so Bosch slips into Picard's pocket as he leaves. He then offers to pay Bosch her weight in gold for the disc. There's a lot of conflicting talk about the value of gold at this time. Maybe worthless, maybe valuable. But generally, if you even it all out, gold is about what silver is today. So that's probably equivalent to a new car. Especially just the act that Scotty's still crashing the surface of that Dyson sphere. He's seriously strained to try to pay the same offer to him. Picard decides the only place around here he's going to get away from annoying people is in his room.
What the hell are you doing in my room?
I don't want to find Jamaharon, and no, I don't want to watch while you two look for it. These are the Vorgons, a nickname that comes from the future. Picard's barely skeptical of this claim, which is a bit of a shock given how the aliens are trying to kill Q. He remained unconvinced he was telling the truth. The aliens mentioned the legend of the toxic tat, which is Latin for nothing. Apparently, the tat was brought back by scientists in the future to keep it safe from evil people who wanted to use it to blow up a star, just like in Star Trek Generations. If it were to be found by the wrong people now, not only would it cause untold damage, but we might have to sit through all that Nexus BS again. So Picard's in the case to find the new test. Well, with the Vorgons off to build a hyperspace bypass, Picard checks in with Bosch to talk about the disk. Yes, it does have something to do with the new test, and she reveals that she was the assistant of a professor who had been searching for it. And Sovek was helping out when they needed to do less than legitimate things. Eventually they're teamed up by this and plan to go off looking for it. To make up for the fact that this adventure has had neither excitement, nor intrigue, nor romance, we get lines like, "From the moment I met you, I knew you were going to be trouble."
You look like a man who can handle trouble.
So after they change for the little expedition, Picard and Bosch get ready to go, but get ambushed by Sovek. He reveals that Bosch was paid by Sovek to get the disc, and that she used his money to go chasing after it. He demands the disc, but a little distraction is all it takes for Sovek to lose his gun. Picard then, having his weapon, decides to turn him over to the authorities for his behavior, including smuggling a weapon onto Ryza, threats, and all this. Oh, no way. Actually, Picard's just going to belt him in the face and toss the gun aside where any small child can find it. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode's action sequence. On with the adventure. They head to the caves where they spend a little time working on the anemic romance plot.
Only for me, you'd still be back there sitting in the sun, relaxing.
That happens to be why I came to Ryza.
I'm sure you hated every minute of it.
What gave it away? When you pushed the man in the wheelchair down the stairs, he called me a big bully and threw his drink at me. I hate this whole planet. Well, that's probably the sign to crawl into bed together. It's a real steamy scene. The way they both lay there, fully clothed with room between them for the Holy Ghost. And eventually, it leads to a kiss. Oh, I hope this doesn't harm our youth any. This is what more sex meant for Stewart. It's no wonder he almost didn't come back after this season. So they arrive in the cave, and because of magic ore, they can't detect it with tricorders. So it's time to dig. The Vorgons return from the future to watch, and then Sovek shows up. Of course, the Vorgons immediately object, so they just stand there in silence for quite a while as Sovek threatens Picard. Some security officers you guys are. Even Tashiar and War Convention would get around to doing something about Q, but we see